It is.
I just saw somebody write in Tyler or something.
Yeah. Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. All right, sorry about that. All right, so with that, we'll move on to agenda item 5, selectmen comments. Any selectmen comments?
I just have, it's not on the agenda. Just the one thing that I was thinking driving around the town. What the state's gonna be paving that section of 193, which is fantastic. They're doing all that. We're gonna be doing Chase and Bates Ave. Due to I'm just throwing this out, maybe you can explore this, but you're gonna have the paving company and the trucks up there from, I think it's Allstate, I believe, that paves for the town.
They're paving for
The state.
they're actually paving for the state.
Right,
The towns, we're doing our own.
okay, something to think about based on the lack of people that we have right now with vacations and that, with the equipment being up there, Allstate already hauling, that it may be an even wash just to let them do it while they're there
Right.
and pave it.
The guys are already, they've been prepping today, and they're set to pave tomorrow, getting the asphalt from Oxford Asphalt. Yeah. All states is supposed to start July 11th.
It's
Yeah.
just a
No, I
thought
agree.
that, sometimes when they're there, it's
Yep.
just a quick hit and go and,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, and I had approached all states about it at first, and it wasn't, they were gonna send a whole new crew over, is what they said. So, and that was exactly my thinking.
yeah, they're there.
But then when they said, well, I'll have to send another crew, I thought, well, okay, well, that defeats the purpose of my thought. My thought process was defeated in that moment. So, but yeah, the staff, the crew at the Public Works will be doing those two, starting tomorrow. So. Any other selectmen comments?
It seems like we had a safe 4th of July. I hope everyone enjoyed their holiday. We had a beautiful weekend.
It was like an amazing weekend.
It
I don't know
was.
if it could have gotten any better. Just to a reminder, I think Suzanne, you had mentioned it at the last meeting, July 9th, this Saturday at 11 a.m. They will be dedicating a portion of Route 21 and a portion of Route 193 to Calvin Heath and Joseph Lindley respectively, and or respectively, sorry. The dedication will take place at Thompson Hill Common, and there's a reception to follow between 12 and 2 at the American Legion.
What time does it start?
Starts at 11 a.m. Library, they're under their summer hours, don't have Saturday hours currently. They are Monday through Thursday, a.m. to 8 and Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Additionally, I received 2 items that I'm hoping that the selectmen will allow us to add to the agenda. The first, Marie messaged me late this afternoon. There was an RFP that was supposed to be open tonight for the library boiler. So if it pleases the board, if we could add that to the agenda. And then the second one was I received a request late this afternoon from Melinda Smith, our superintendent, to have the building review an assessment, a security assessment done on the facility. She just wants them to review it, but she needs our
So
permission.
we just want to charge.
Yes.
I'll make those 2 items to the agenda.
Okay.
Under.
Other business.
Other business.
Okay, so we have a
Second.
motion. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on those 2 items? Okay, all in favor of adding the opening of the boiler RFPs for the library and the request from the superintendent to other business, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that's unanimous. So that passes. Any other selectmen comments?
I don't have anything.
All right, hearing none. We will open the floor. I will go first to the Zoom audience, because I think I did it in reverse last time. So the Zoom audience, the floor is open for any citizen comments at this time. Just unmute your microphone and state your name and address for the record, please, if there is any. All right, I'm not seeing any. We will move to the live audience. The floor is open for citizen comments. Please come forward to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Al Landry, 33 Randolph, and I'm going to talk on clear cutting. I've been to most of the meetings on open space, including the Agriculture Commission, Board of Selectmen, Planning and Zone Commission, and the Ordinance Committee. I've heard arguments for allowing clear cutting to be included in the open space ordinance. I've not heard an argument for clear cutting, do not have an equally or better argument for not clear cutting. The proposed open space ordinance allows selective cuttings for fields, meadows, ponds, and bird habitat. Under the proposed ordinance, firewood and timber harvesting are allowed. Pines over 60 years old are very susceptible to storm damage. Good forestry management dictates that storm damage and fire damage should be cleaned up for safety reasons, but clear cutting is not always necessary, even in those cases. I don't understand why clear cutting should be allowed. Wildlife is displaced, less trees equals less oxygen. This causes problems for people with asthma and the potential for children to develop asthma. And we know that Windham County has the highest asthma rate in Connecticut. Most clear cutting is not done with a conservation-minded attitude. To be done properly, stumps would need to be removed. There is a great chance of unwanted plants and invasive plant species to come in. These include brambles, multiflora roses, poison ivy, bittersweet bindweed, among other unwanted plants. Some people, when they find they can't control them, will want to turn to poisons. Should the town be given a tax reduction and then allow these things to happen? I don't think this is a good idea. I hope that the Board of Selectmen will not allow clear cut in the open space ordinance. Selective harvesting covers so many activities. If the board does allow clear cutting, I hope it will put in some safeguards similar to the ones controlling gravel mining. The potential safeguards could include going to the Conservation Commission with plans for the project in phases, with phases maybe being up to 10 acres, and then to inland wetlands if needed to assess wetland impact. The Planning and Zoning Commission would need to approve any project. Once the phase is satisfactorily completed, the next phase could begin. As the town is a partner in open space, perhaps the fees could be waived. In summary, clear cutting was discussed by the Ordinance Committee, and the decision was not to allow clear cutting in the open space ordinance. And I want to say on the radio this morning, the Attorney General talked about the problems of air quality in Connecticut, which we're one of the worst states in the nation. And I want to commend Dickie Birch and his family have done a beautiful field that they did. They took the stumps out, and it's one of the better projects I've seen. Of course, the golf course along 395 is one of the worst projects I've ever seen. 10 years later, you can still see some of it sticking up. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, it's open. State your name and address for the record, please.
Bill Warner, Lowell Davis Road. I'm here about last month's meeting, the last meeting you had. I was actually surprised when you told the audience that they could only speak about stuff on the agenda. Because the first time I spoke at a Board of Selectmen meeting was back in '86, and I tried to get on the agenda then. And they said, well, we can't get you on the agenda, but you can speak under citizens' comments, because under citizens' comments, you can speak about anything you want. And I was actually surprised to hear that it's now that you can only speak about items that are on the agenda. Now, as far as I know, yesterday we celebrated the 4th of July, and we got rid of the tyranny government that we had then. And we still have a First Amendment, which says I can sit here and talk about anything I want. You can limit me as to how much time I can have, and you can limit how many citizen comments you have, but you can't say I can't talk about things that aren't on the agenda. And I was just wondering if that was just the first selectman or if the whole board had voted on it. If you could please respond.
Thank you for your continued watchdog presence. As you know, I did not say that at this meeting. Last meeting did run 3 hours. I did it because I have every right as the chair of this board to run an orderly meeting. I respectfully asked that we stick to agenda items because I knew there would be a lot of discussion. I don't think it was inappropriate. I didn't say that at this meeting. We have a later agenda. So people are free, and they're free to come to my office anytime. They're free to call me anytime. They're free to stop me in the grocery store because that happens. I wasn't denying the right to speak. I was trying to run an orderly meeting, but thank you for your concern. And if the board has anything they wish to say.
No.
Okay. Yours was kind of quiet when I was testing it today. So,
No, I don't have anything to add.
and the floor is still open for citizen comments. When you come up, please state your name and address.
Sally White, 308 East Townsend Road. It's come to my attention that there's an effort on behalf of the board to alter the fire departments, to alter them from being independent and put them under contract. And I don't believe I've seen that in any meeting minutes or heard it discussed amongst you. And having come from a fire department family, if you will, and having familiarity with them, I think that would be harmful to the town, and it would not motivate the fire departments, and I think would be added bureaucracy and added cost, and wouldn't improve the skill or the response time. But this is something that should be discussed in public, and townspeople need to know. I was floored that there are discussions going on to put the, unless I misunderstand, put the fire departments under contract. I think that would be not at all an advantage to the town. My father was one of the founders of the East Thompson Fire Department, fire chief, fire marshal, fire warden. I was brought up in that environment, and I think that would be pretty dreadful. So I would have appreciated if you all would address that so that we would have the facts. Thank you.
That was on the agenda for the last meeting. It will be discussed publicly at a fire advisory committee meeting on July 28th if you'd like to attend. It'll be at the Quinnebog Fire Department. And I too grew up in a fire department family. In fact, I pretty much was raised in a fire department station. I respect firefighters. I respect the volunteerism that they provide. I have the utmost respect and admiration for all that they do. And this isn't trying to divide them or change them. So, but thank you for your concern and your interest. I too want to protect them. So, any other citizen comments at this time? Please state your name and address.
180 Elmwood Hill Road. I'm for 4 months trying to get information from the zoning board. It took me 4 months to get this question answered for me. They passed all these rules and regulations on chickens and everything because they stated in their meetings because of the several complaints. Well, since 2019, there's been 11 complaints in the town of Thompson. Most of these questions, most of them were just questions posed to the zoning board enforcement officer. 2 which involved roosters. One person complaining about a rooster would seem to be solving it on their own, and another person, there was a rooster running around the neighborhood, no one knew who owned it. They called NECOG, and NECOG said he'd pay for it if Tom they come get it, town of Thompson, pay for it. How do they pass all these new regulations, completely take roosters out of districts where people have big pieces of property and not justify it to us? They won't answer a question, they don't answer a question, they don't justify what they do in the zoning board meeting, period. They've shut me down every time I got up to speak. One night, 3 times they shut me down before I finished. Then they go to the butchering. Every rule they pass contradicts USDA, state law, everything that I know. But all of a sudden, we're passing laws on butchering in the town of Thompson. Where does that come from? Comes from one person on the zoning board and one neighbor. So the rest of us supposed to suffer? You can't kill chickens in the town of Thompson? You can't butcher chickens for state law says I can do it. Says I can kill chickens and sell them to somebody under a custom kill. Town of Thompson telling me, no, you can't do that anymore. Well, where are we going? There were 11 complaints and we passed all these new rules. And I'd like someone to explain that to me. What they're doing in that zoning board, because they shut you down, they don't let people speak. They argue with people while they're talking to them, because they don't like what they're saying. And some of them go as far as throw chairs around and they still sit on the zoning board. How's that happen?
Is that a copy of the complaints?
Yes,
Can I see them? I haven't seen them.
absolutely
I'll
ridiculous
give them back.
that they wouldn't have done this themselves. But I believe I brought for 4 months because they didn't want me to happen. Till I got that freedom of information form, then all of a sudden they give them to me. When I went in the office and showed them that, I picked one up, fill it up. I'd like to have that. So
Yeah,
I do
absolutely.
think you get copies.
I believe they'll be revisiting that whole section of the regulations.
They need to do a lot of things to revisit. Cow can't reach over the top of the fence and eat the neighbor's grass. What if he reaches under the fence or through the fence?
Thank you.
Just can't figure it out. The simple solution to roosters and tell them to go buy a rooster collar, so they can't crow. And I agree with if the house on top of each other, they shouldn't have.
Okay, any other citizen comments? State your name and address, please.
Hillary Clark, 105 Home Road. And I'm picking up where we left off last month. I know that you had the documentation in front of you regarding the USDA approved practices for harvesting timber. I know that we also had opportunity last time to talk about the very important and tight timeline we are on with the open space ordinance, and that it really needs to move forward and have a town meeting set in order to give both the staff in the town hall as well as the citizens of the town ample opportunity to meet the deadline for September 1st applications. Because if someone were going to make the decision that the open space program did or did not fit for them, they need to do that prior to September 1st, and they have to do research. Because applications for, let's say, forestry have to be submitted by them. So, and there's a lot of work that people have to do in order to evaluate and assess that. So I'm urging the selectmen to please move the open space consideration forward. And I still maintain that a change to the clear cut restriction, because there are people who follow silvicultural, good silvicultural practices. There are applications, other processes in town that control that as well. It doesn't need to be an extra level of control. And I'll also maintain that the farmland taxation is that we've used all along, according to the field cards, not according to GIS systems, is where we should be taxing the open space, and use the historical method rather than the method that's going to result in many folks having an increase in taxes. So thank you for that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Floor is still open for citizen comments. State your name and address.
Dave Clark, 105 Hall Road. In regards to PA 490 and clear cut land, I stated this at the last meeting and I'm going to state it again this time. Clear cut land is still open space. It doesn't use town services. There are no school buses going through it. There are no snow plows going through it. Anything else? I don't believe anybody clear cuts the land for no reason. There's usually a reason. And as mentioned, there are valid silvicultural reasons for clear cutting land, including restoring fields, bringing stuff back, putting in a tree farm. You want a specific species, you want to plant Christmas trees, you would clear cut what you got and plant Christmas trees. Putting in an orchard, clear cut what you've got, put in an orchard. There are lots of valid reasons for clear cutting land. And it still qualifies as open space, especially if you look at the municipal cost reduction aspect of open space. Clear cut land fits that 100%. And yeah, it may not be aesthetically pleasing for a short time, but it always recovers. Thank you.
Floor is still open. Citizen comments. Okay, I'm not seeing any, so we will move on to the next agenda item, which is item number 7, PA 490 ordinance. You know, and it just jumped into my head that this was also supposed to last week or the last meeting we had recreation and illicit discharge.
Say that again?
The last meeting we had 2 other
Yeah, but we
ordinances.
were good on those.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so those are good to go.
We
We
did
didn't,
approve those. We
Yeah.
voted on
Okay.
those, and yeah.
all right. Okay, so PA 490, it's up for discussion amongst the board. I'll go. I read through the material that was provided us, which is why we didn't make the decision at the last meeting. And it just came to my mind, I'm really concerned about 5, 10, 20 years from now. Not everybody's gonna have at their disposal what silviculture is. They're not gonna understand that methodology. And the last thing that we really want is something to be completely clear cut and wiped out. I mean, I'm happy with the language that the ordinance committee, that we charged them with and what they came forward with. With that one change for the 25% versus the 75%. What are your thoughts?
I only had 2 things, and they were from the last meeting. It said mining, dredging, clear cutting, filling, grading, paving, excavation, or drilling. Dredging, to me, if it's a pond and it's usually a pond
Mhm.
that has been overrun with silt coming into it, and it's now turned into a more of a swamp area and that type of thing, that, you know, allowing that to be dredged back into a pond, I don't have a problem with that. I think it makes sense. It helps with conservation, you know, with that. It has to be, it's got to go through DEP. It's got to go through inlands, wetlands. There's a bunch of stop gaps just to get a permit. You know, it isn't like the days when we had to do Hamels Pond and we dredged that and cleaned it up and made a swimming hole out of it. You're going to jump through hoops to get this done. But to say that, you know, a pond that has just been filled in from silt from decades, you know, not to be able to dredge that, we still should be able to do that. Because it doesn't mean it ain't for conservation. It's there. Just that you're just changing it. The wildlife will get better. The fish will come back, different things that go along with that. The clear cutting is a standard for, you know, forestry management. I can think of a couple of circumstances where you may have to clear cut. The gypsy moths that came through
Mhm.
that wipe out and you need to go through and clean it out. So I'll spelling that out as complete clear cutting. I would take that out, but I would put in some guidelines. Whether, you know, town approval, conservation approval, and arborist approval, that type of stuff to, why are you doing what you're doing?
Well, they have
So
selective
that- I was gonna say,
harvesting
does it
listed.
Say selective cutting, wouldn't that be the same as taking down?
Right, selective harvesting of timber, management of
Right, I was
invasive and
trying to
other
find where
management
it
for
is.
conservation. Page, it's not the second page, section B,
Got it.
and then 3.
That's how I'm looking at that. It can be a topic when the ordinance goes through and we have the town meeting.
Right, True.
Like I said, I can see a clear cutting because of something that's happened, a tornado goes through, whatever the case may be. And you've got to clear cut the thing. It's the only way you're gonna bring it back. Heaven forbid if it ever did happen.
I mean, there's
True.
pros and cons to clear cutting, and I did do a little bit of research, and I grew up in an area where clear cutting devastated miles and miles of land in Maine. So, I mean, there's pros and cons. It takes, it changes the environment for the animals, for the species that are living in the trees and the environment. It changes the water flow. It changes the atmosphere, the air.
Well, that's where your inland wetlands would come in, everything else, because it's all water runoff, just like when you build a house. You check
So
some
you're changing
balances.
the,
That's only if you're within the 100-foot upland review area, or if you're in wetlands, because then you can't clear cut wetlands.
No, but you can't have an impact on wetlands either. And flood them out. You've got to be careful
Mhm.
with certain rules and regulations when it comes to wetlands. So it may be that the selective harvesting of timber may be more than enough to cover what we need to do. And you could put in, a stopgap that, it becomes town approved. And we go through our different boards. So that's
comfortable with
just for
sending it to
confidence.
town meeting and letting the
Conversation.
town's taxpayers decide
Right,
at town meeting.
true.
Let,
That's true.
Just my thoughts.
Send it as written
yeah,
for the town to review.
yeah,
Well, that's what
that's,
They
that's
can
what a
make it-
town meeting is about, I guess.
they can modify this ordinance till the
Yeah.
cows come home.
right.
That's what the town meeting's for.
Mhm. Well, my plan would be to try to get a town meeting by the end of July.
We need to get.
And I can
moving.
get that put together if we have to have a special meeting so that we stick to the timeline for it. We can do that via Zoom to move something forward. So that we can, Mhm.
What did you say? Through Zoom or hybrid?
No, just for our
Oh.
selectmen's meeting,
send
to
it,
approve
yes,
it, to
yes,
send
yes,
it to
to
town
send it
meeting,
town meeting.
because we
I'm
actually
sorry.
need the legal
I
notice.
I heard that wrong.
We have to approve the
Yes,
legal
yes,
notice.
Yeah,
So I'm fine with moving it forward.
okay, so let's,
We need to move it forward.
Right.
And we can have a couple of these discussions.
Yeah.
At the meeting and get the pulse of the people.
All right.
But to keep going back and forth with this we're gonna miss the time frame and do
Right.
more damage
Agreed.
than not having this in
because there's
place.
pros and cons and. Yeah,
Yeah. My biggest fear is just that, again, purpose, intent, if things aren't clearly defined in the future, they just could get abused. And that's just what I don't want. Again, losing that habitat for animals. Just the number of deer that I see just in the wooded sections near my
Yes,
house, right on
yes.
Route 12.
on my way here.
It's their hiding place, and the thought that that could,
All right, I'll make a motion, to move the 3 ordinances to town meeting.
okay.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on these ordinances? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that motion passes. I will work on some dates. I'll work on a special meeting so we can get this moving forward. All right. All right, next item, agenda item 8, private roads maintenance policy. I don't actually have a policy in place. I know that the planning and zoning is working on private roads within the subdivision regulations. But I did put a lot of thought into it over the last couple of weeks. I talked to Lars, the longest standing employee at the town garage right now. And it is accurate that Wrightson Drive has been graded for 28 years, up until last year. my concern, and I think that, and I can't speak for Rich because he's not here and I don't know his exact reasoning. But there are many private unaccepted roads. And yet Wrightson is the only one that's ever been graded. A short time, Bros Landing was graded at the front portion, and they were usually asked, according to laws, they were asked to pay for the materials. Just because something's always been done doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. But I think the wrong thing to do was just to strip it away without letting the residents know. So, I mean, I personally would like to send the crew out there to get it graded as soon as possible. And then possibly, well, not possibly, then we can see have further conversation with planning and zoning, see what they come up with in the subdivision regs, have more discussion about this. But what are your thoughts? What are both of your thoughts?
Oh,
on
getting,
this.
getting the town, the grader out there and grading this road without a doubt. Let's get it done, get it worked into the schedule. We do have a list of roads that we do the plowing and stuff on.
Right,
We can modify that to a point, not to include or, or exclude, what we currently have there. But this is something that we can work on.
right. But for now, getting the road done
But
is what's
Getting
priority.
Rights and Drive done and continuing with the policy that we've been doing, we should be doing that.
That's the only unclaimed road in Thompson that we've consistently graded?
Yes.
And
Do we have
section,
any
And
idea why?
Lars,
and sections of Borough Landing.
there was question, or there was
Yeah, that could be.
someone that mentioned to me this morning that the former Public Works Director's brother lived on that road. But
Oh, 28 years ago?
Baker Road too.
on Baker Road.
Well, no, Baker Road gets graded too, because they park their grader at Ronnie Gunn when they do it.
Yeah, but the Baker Road is a,
owned by
re-
the town.
yeah, that's a regular
Oh,
town
it's
road.
accepted by the
Yeah,
town.
that's,
Yeah, that's right. It's on my list here.
Yep.
So, and I'm not starting a rumor.
do you want to?
But it's always wait, I got people I'm supposed to let in. Hold on.
Do you want a motion?
No, I mean, I have every right to send the crew out there
Okay.
in the coming, they have to just finish the paving project and I can get them on it in the following week. Lars is all set to move on it. So,
He's
and in the
gonna move on to
meantime,
grader.
we can just put some thought,
If we can
and-
finish this process,
right?
to make something more.
Recording in progress.
substantial in the future.
Right.
What we're doing just for snow.
To have a
plowing.
policy,
Mhm.
yeah,
Right,
right.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's get them out there.
But-
okay.
So let's get
I
them
can
out there.
confer with writing something into the policy that's already in place for the snowplow
Okay.
policy. Okay. All right. Any other discussion on that topic?
No, get them out there.
Okay. All right, and then moving on to our other business, the request, and I gave you both a copy of the letter. I don't know if you wanted to take some time to read it.
I think I got an email on it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. we got
Oh,
an email.
Danielle
We
sent
got a-
one. Okay, great.
Oh, from Danielle.
Yes, okay, because I was in the office when she was sending that. I wasn't sure if she sent it to both of you.
Okay, so we're looking for a motion, is that what we're looking
Yep,
for?
the question-
Just to add it to
To add
the-
Yeah,
to
the Board of
charge
Selectmen to allow the Thompson Building Committee to manage necessary security building upgrades in the school and to review the assessment that was done
So
recently.
basically what the motion would be is to review the
The assessment,
not
Yes.
to, yeah.
yes.
So I'll make that motion.
So,
Second.
okay, so the motion, just so Gloria knows, is to give the building committee charge over reviewing the security assessment for the Thompson Public School System.
And you-
So we have a motion by Suzanne, second by Ken. Any further discussion on this topic?
No.
Okay, all in favor of moving forward and giving this charge to the building committee, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And John Rice, you've got another thing on your plate.
Oh, John's gonna love you.
He's probably gonna yell at me.
Love us.
Thank you.
You're welcome, John.
All right, so the other item on other business was the boiler RFP. I have two.
You need you don't need a motion to open them or anything, right?
No, we
We'll
just open them. Can you want to
again.
open one? I don't mind. I don't mind not doing it. And just name the company and then the amount.
Allstate Construction and it's
Where are they located? Out of curiosity.
under Farmington, Connecticut.
Okay,
And it says the total fixed price for the materials is 79,000.
okay,
And it's like there's- they put 3 copies.
79,000. Yeah, 79,000, right, Suzanne?
That's correct.
Right on the cover, so it looks right.
All set?
Yep,
This one's from Action Air Systems, Inc. They're out of 131 Adams Street in Manchester. Total price for the scope of this project as they bid it was $67,741.
okay. All right, we have our 2 bids open.
There you
I will
are.
forward those over to the review committee, which will most likely be the library board, since this is a library board or library project. Thank you very much. Welcome. All right, and that was it for other business. That brings us back to citizen comments, agenda item 10. The floor is open to citizen comments. We will start with the live audience first and then move to the virtual audience. Just come to the microphone, state your name and address.
Thank you for moving PA 490 forward. Getting to the end of this. I imagine a lot of other people are as well. As back and forth was happening about dredging and forestry. The important point is it's not whether we allow people to do this or not, it's the impact to their 10-year penalty. And so if someone wanted to do a silvicultural operation or to dredge, even if they got permission from the town, that impacts their 10-year penalty. And they would have to pay 10% of the market value of the property if they did that. That's why these need to be removed, but we'll discuss that at town meeting. Yes, thanks.
Thank you. Citizen comments. The floor is still open for citizen comments.
Janet Waters, 47 Wrightson Drive. I'd like to thank the board for the consideration of doing Wrightson Drive, hopefully correcting our situation and getting life back to the way it was. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
Okay. Citizen comments. The floor is still open for citizen comments in the live audience. State your name and address.
Ray Williams, Port of Plain Road. Just wondering, I know it's citizens' comments and not answers, but I got property down on Schoolhouse Pond, and I know I see signs that have been put up there saying that it's residents only. The pond association put in. And I did a little bit of digging, and when the state bought the boat ramp down there, it says that that's abuts a town road. So I'm not sure if that, sometimes they say it's private, sometimes they say it's town roads. I know about 15 years ago, the road got washed out, the town fixed it. And late 70s to early 80s, there was one road that went in there and the town put another road in and cut onto Center Street. And if you look back through, you can see the maps where they added that. So the town people paid for that. So that should be considered a town road going through there. And I'm just worried about, I plow half of that in the wintertime with my truck going through there. I just want to make sure, know if the town's still going to be plowing them roads down there.
It's on the policy list.
Right, right. If it's on the policy list, it would be, yeah. So. Citizen comments. Just come up and state your name and address, please.
Brenda Romanek, Passay Road. As usual, I wasn't planning on speaking, but something caught my attention, which is you said that you were concerned about defining things moving forward. Well, in the ordinance that's proposed, and I did miss last meeting, I had an issue with my back, so I don't know if this was taken care of or not, but under definitions in this proposed ordinance, it talks about, define shall have the meaning, I'm sorry, glasses on, have the meanings respectively ascribed to them in section 12-107B of the Connecticut General Statutes. Now, when you look at those definitions, it doesn't define built, unbuilt, developed, undeveloped. So I'm gonna bring this up again for the 17th time. Town of Thompson defines unbuilt as something that has 0 man-made changes on it. So what that means, and you just brought up, we need clarification for the future. When you say unbuilt and undeveloped, as a town, our definitions say any man-made change makes it developed or built. And if you look at the statute, that 12-107B, it doesn't even define open space. It defines farmland and forest land. So why are we referring to that in our ordinance? Can anyone answer that, or am I not allowed to ask a question as usual? I'm appalled that we're moving forward, and I think it's good that we are moving forward. But it's kind of ridiculous that there are a lot of people making decisions about things they really don't know anything about. And I know you said, Suzanne, that you did research, but it's one issue that you guys have on your plates. Just like you said, your door is open. Well, why wouldn't any of you confer with those of us that have been involved in open space for 50, 60 years? I mean, and I've asked that question a million times. How are we going to take care of that definition, built, unbuilt, no man-made change? No one has answered my question in all these months, and yet you're moving forward. I have a real concern about that.
Doesn't it?
If you're concerned,
It
you
gives
can
it
show
here
it
in that
because no one
ordinance.
responded to my
Doesn't
question
it list it
about
in
the built or
ordinance under
unbuilt.
definitions? Am I looking at this wrong?
Building or buildings.
It says it goes, what's in the ordinance talks about the definitions in the 12-107B Connecticut General Statutes. That statute doesn't even mention the definition for open space.
But there is definitions in the ordinance for how it's going to be
Where is
defined
that?
based on, it's on the
Right here.
second page, unbuilt and
I must
undeveloped.
have, okay, so
Undeveloped,
I don't
unbuilt
have that here.
structure.
Okay,
I don't have that.
so you don't have
what-
all the
So
information
what, right, I don't. So
Okay.
I told
I'm
you. I
happy to
missed the
make a
last
copy
meeting.
of you
So what did it
for
say?
you.
Can
It
someone
says
tell me what it
unbuilt
said?
means a parcel of area of land which contains no building or buildings, as defined in section 2, definitions building. And then
Section 2 of what? This ordinance, or are you talking?
Let's
Planning and
get you a
zoning.
copy of this.
building
so you
is
can-
here, section 2. Building means any permanently affixed structure having a roof and intended for shelter, housing, or enclosure of persons, animals, or materials. Undeveloped means a parcel of area of land which includes no areas meeting the definition of development as defined in section 2, development. Development is, and there's several of them. But I can make a
So
copy of you
someone
so you can
changed
read
our
this.
Thompson definition?
The
of-
ordinance review
No.
committee built, design, or put together this ordinance. They worked on it for 6 weeks. I think it was 6 weeks. Was it
Okay,
longer than that now?
So it would have been really great if someone had talked to me about that. Because I've been standing in
Well, the
these
meetings were
for
public.
months and months. You know what? Just-
I'm sorry, the meetings were
I give
public.
up. I give up. Do what you need to do.
Sure.
Pointed out to me that I didn't give my name and address.
Oh,
when I
okay.
Last spoke, Valerie Clark, 105 Elm Road. Hoping to address the concerns that were just raised. The reason, from my understanding from attending 100% of these meetings, is that the reference to the Connecticut General Statute is recommended and required in the ordinance, even though the statute refers to farmland and forest land. It's required in order to understand the open space provision of BA 490 and to understand that this ordinance references that statute, that public act. And then on the definitions, it would be helpful if the draft that you were looking at tonight, and this has been recommended in other meetings on other topics, were part of the materials for the meeting beforehand.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely have it published on the website and have it available for people. Is that what you're asking for? I'm sorry to have interrupted.
I know you're gonna have to have it
Right.
available time for the town.
And at
meeting.
the town clerks.
What I was referencing is making sure that drafts that are being reviewed, that the public has got tremendous interest in and investment in, be published as part of the materials for the meeting tonight. And it was requested, and this is a totally different topic. This is the Agriculture Commission. But it was requested that for the special meeting that the Agriculture Commission is holding on July 18th to review the farming, planning and zoning regulations, agriculture related planning and zoning recommendations. There was someone who requested that the draft recommendation that the Agriculture Commission had worked on at their last meeting be made available as a draft prior to the July 18th meeting. And I think that would be helpful for other meetings as well, to
Okay,
have drafts available so the public can see what you see.
oh,
And
true.
and have more pertinent.
And as maybe, answering that call for that, when Gloria does the meeting minutes, which will be published within a week, we can have copies attached to the minutes, so people could review that way too, if that would be helpful. I know it's not before the meeting, but at least it would be
But the-
published.
Were you asking?
'Cause you're asking for it
when you come
before.
To the meeting or online or in the selectmen's office or all of the above?
Right.
The more
Especially if it's an
information, the
ordinance.
better, especially if it's an ordinance,
Yeah.
especially if it's language that you're reviewing at the
Mhm.
Board of Selectmen's meeting. It's really useful for the citizens that are impacted by that language to be able to understand what you're considering.
Oh, absolutely. No, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any of these
Appreciate that.
proposed ordinance changes and stuff of that nature
Right.
can be put up on our website for all
Copies.
review at any
And
time.
when we do the legal notice, the copies have to be
Yeah,
in
but
the,
I mean,
right,
even
town
though it's a work
clerks.
in progress, it can go up. This was presented in the meeting, this is what we're discussing.
Right. Yep. Okay, floor is still open for citizen comments, so. And then I'll go to the virtual audience. Okay, we'll move on. Virtual audience, any citizen comments at this time? All right, I'm not seeing any, so we will move on to the next agenda item, which is tax, should be tax refunds. I've lost my agenda. Oh, there it is. Tax refunds, agenda item 11. I make a motion, oh, I don't have the total. That we refund Brenda Romanek $115.34. You got a tax refund.
I did.
Yeah, there's one here. And let's see.
I didn't expect that. I thought that was gonna be next month.
Yeah, and then William and Brenda Cachapudi, $21.03 for overpaid taxes. I make that motion.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second for these tax rate refunds. All in favor? I mean,
Aye.
I need I didn't get a second. I need a
I
second.
gave you some.
Ken gave you a
Oh,
second.
Ken, I made the motion. It's been a long night already.
It's hard to come back from vacation.
It is. I'm still on vacation, apparently. All in favor of approving these tax refunds, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that motion passes.
Motion to adjourn.
Ken has a motion to
Second.
adjourn. Suzanne has a second. All in favor of adjournment at 7:51 PM, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
We've had in a while.
Yeah, if you want to.
There's only a couple of-
I'd say I plow half of that with my truck every winter when I go down to. Yeah.